Today, we are in court for New Mexico versus Hannah Gutierrez on her post-trial defense motion to dismiss her case. So her defense attorney is saying, yo, Your Honor, you dismissed the Baldwin case. Can we get some of that dismissal? and can we get some of that dismissal? And will you let her out of prison? So that is what we are covering today. Oh, her face is just like,
initially, I want to just ask, Mr. Bowles indicated that there was an affidavit provided by Ms. Johnson. I don't have that. I haven't seen it attached to any of the pleadings, so I'm not sure what he's referring to. So if, obviously he mentioned it, can I get some insight into when that was provided?
Motion. Bowles?
Your Honor, I will try to locate this in the pleadings, but there was an affidavit filed with that's in the court record in the recent Baldwin response.
That's not your case.
But I think
if that's what we're going to do, Carrie's going to be like, right, and we gave the Hague report to Baldwin's attorney, so you can't argue this. Your Honor, it was filed in the Baldwin case, so it counts in this one. No. No, sir.
Attached one in this case as well. I just would have to find it.
Oh, I'm going to go look for it. Oh, there's no exhibits to this motion. There's not. He didn't file the exhibits.
The motions I printed out don't have the exhibits, Your Honor, so I'm not seeing it.
You didn't file the exhibits then, sir.
Well, I just went through every motion that's on Odyssey that has the exhibits attached.
This has no exhibits,
and it's not there.
No.
So,
all right. If you can't produce it, I'm going to strike that part of the argument regarding Ms. Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor, and I would just say that part of the court record in the Baldwin.
Y'all are like, Bowles is doing great, sir. Filing your motions without all the exhibits is, dude, damn it, Bowles. Baldwin's lawyers did all the work and like handed it to you on a silver platter, and you're still like, I didn't file the exhibits.
Bruh.
They're not there. And it doesn't note that there are exhibits in the motion. Like the motion doesn't cite to any exhibits, indicating that there would be exhibits that I can see. I don't see any reference to them in footnotes in a quick scroll through. All right, let's see how we go from here. Well, Carrie Morrissey and Bowles were back in court today in front of Judge Summer to argue the motion to dismiss with regard to Hannah Gutierrez's case. Bowles was arguing prosecutorial misconduct in sum, arguing that there was a full recorded Seth Kinney interview that never got turned over to the defense until after trial. There was that expert Hague report that didn't get turned over until after Hannah's trial. And then there were the Troy Teske rounds. At the beginning of the hearing, Bowles tried to restrain himself from saying that Carrie Morrissey had been lying. By the end, he did say that the prosecution lied and cheated. But at the beginning, it was that there was shading of the truth, that Carrie Morrissey testified in the Baldwin case, and that she lied about what Erlinda Johnson said. She lied about the meeting that was had, about the Teske rounds, and more. This is the first time we got to see Carrie Morrissey actually speak to everything that went on. And Carrie Morrissey was just like, okay, so I don't know if any of my testimony in the Baldwin case is even relevant here. And then she spoke for 152 pages about the Teske rounds and how the defense had them. And so that's not on her. And that, you know, everything that Hague said in his other discovery was also in this one report. So they were aware of it. And that she was also appalled by the fact that the Seth Kinney interview wasn't turned over and the prior DAs didn't turn it over either. And she didn't even know it was there. And she had no way to say that that was not uploaded to the portal. And there was like a terabyte of discovery. There's no discovery exception that I know of that says, well, if it's a lot, we'll give you some grace on turning over reports to the defense. No, it's not like, okay, well, over 50 gigabytes, we're going to like do our best. That's not how any of that works. So Carrie admitted that they didn't turn over evidence to the defense, but still argued that even though there is new evidence discovered after trial, that still doesn't change the outcome of the trial. And that when you go through the legal analysis, which she said Bowles did not do, she's like, Your Honor, he didn't even cite the standard in his motion. Remind me again what the standard is for a court to reconsider a motion to reconsider a dismissal with prejudice. What's the standard there is my question. But she said that Bowles didn't even cite the standard, and under the standard, none of this after discovered evidence would have changed the outcome of the trial. Bowles is asking for a dismissal for egregious prosecutorial misconduct. Then he is asking for a new trial, and if a new trial is granted, to release Hannah Gutierrez from custody pending that new trial, or to release her from custody pending appeal. And he's asking that the prosecutor be removed. And Carrie said he didn't even file a motion. You can't just come in here and ask for stuff. It's a summary, but it's a pretty accurate summary that's what she said. So it was a extended hearing, probably more so because I kept pausing because some of Carrie's arguments were just, and I was shocked. But she has quadrupled down on the none of this is relevant. This doesn't change the outcome of the trial. She did not argue once, though, that Hannah's own interviews were some of the strongest evidence here, which was interesting. It was more defensive than that. And it was, they knew, they should have known, they could have known. And yes, the things we did suppress were after discovered, but even then she doesn't get a new trial. The court said that she was going to rule early next week. So we will see a ruling early next week. Maybe, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe. I think that's early next week. But she said early next week, but next week for sure. And the court will rule on both the motion to dismiss as a sanction for prosecutorial misconduct and because of after discovered evidence and for Brady violations. And she will rule on the motion to release Hannah Gutierrez. I'm very interested to see what will happen. The court did not give a lot of feedback in this. It was Bowles, and then she let him argue. Prosecution, and then she let her argue. Reply, and that was about it. Thank you. I'll rule next week. It was a very limited interaction from the court. So I can't wait to see what her written ruling is, because her written ruling in the Baldwin case was fiery. So will Hannah's case get dismissed? Will she get a new trial? It's possible here. The amount of evidence that was not turned over is substantial, and Seth Kinney is a fairly important witness, I think, to the case. So not turning over a video recorded interview until after trial is fairly substantial in my mind. So we'll see what the court does. I can't believe what a mess this special prosecutor has made of these prosecutions. There's absolutely no reason it should have been this messy. And it is. And I think that doesn't do justice to Helena Hutchins, to her family, and truly to the entire movie industry that wants to see where the boundaries are of safety on set. This mess has become a sideshow of a case that is serious, that should never have happened and should have been treated with some level of seriousness, and has turned into a Brady violation shit show. And it's not how our justice system should ever operate. And that level of Brady violation should not be allowed to stand without some sanction. I'm curious to see what the court decides that sanction will be. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on Wednesdays. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing, receive the fastest notifications out there, and get more Law Nerd community, join me at lawnerdapp.com, our free app for iOS and Android.